Guys, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing? So today I bring this gist for you guys. Yeah, a lot of people don't know 24-hour clock, and even though she said not all is few, but a lot of people were still getting angry. I just add the stitch together, so let's dive into it.
I didn't realize this until I went to university in America, but not all, but a lot of Americans don't understand 24-hour clocks. There were times where people would ask me the time and I would just show them my phone screen and it would have 1932 and they would be like, what in the math equation is that? And I had to sit there and try and explain how 19 is 7. And to them it was like I was just chatting gibberish. But then if they did get it, the first thing that I would hear is, why is your phone in military time? Then I'd get asked if I was part of the military and if I knew coding. And I said no. I said, this is just how my phone is. I have it on 24 hours. I can understand both types of time displays. Another thing was when I used to say 22 or quarter to or quarter past. They weren't having it. They said, just say it's 12:15.
See, and the thing is, right, in America, we don't call it a 24-hour clock. Come here, we call it military time. And for most Americans, me included, it's very confusing, military time, because if I were to ask, hey, what time is it? And someone says, oh, well, it's 1923. I'm going to pretend like I know what time that is, and I'm going to go figure out what actual time it is later on. You know what I'm saying? And the more difficult part is if somebody lives in the East Coast and you live in the West Coast and there's a 3-hour time difference and you both have military time, that's too much math. I'm just going to look outside and be like, it's daytime. It's the daytime.
I'm stitching this for a few reasons. None of them are meant to be any kind of negative energy directed at the creator. This video just spurred a series of thoughts that I felt like sharing on my spam account. Number one. A lot of Americans don't understand the 24-hour clock, yes, but a lot of Americans do. And judging by the comment section, people are taking the a lot don't and running with it. Over here we call it military time because it's not commonly used unless you're in the military, but that doesn't mean we don't know it. Number two, I promise this isn't going to just be me defending America. There's going to be a point to this, and it's not that. Number two, I left this as a comment as my main account already, but where in America were you? Or are you? Because I learned the whole quarter to, quarter past, half past thing in reference to time while I was learning time in school. And I've never in my 25 years of life living here as an American met another American who didn't understand the whole quarter to, quarter past, half past thing in reference to time. And the reason I ask, and the reason I'm really making this entire video is because it reminds me of another video that I made a while ago where I stitched these two girls who were talking about their visit to America and saying things like, in America, you can't go to a cafe and order a latte, which isn't true. And I asked because I really want to know if you traveled around the country in your time studying here. Because if you haven't, or you didn't, you don't know America. You do not know Americans. You know the little section of America that you are in. And I guarantee you, wherever you are in the USA, the rest of the country is different. The third thing is I need people to stop coming to America and being surprised that it works differently from wherever they're from. Because A, it's a different country. We shouldn't be surprised when we go to a new country and find out that things work differently or people are accustomed to different things. B, it's the US. I think we've all well established by now that the US operates completely differently than the rest of the world. And yet that fact still seems shocking to a lot of y'all. And C, if I as an American go to another country and make a bunch of videos like, it's absolutely crazy that in this country they don't do, insert this thing that we do in America. My comment section would look like this. Americans really think the entire world revolves around them. American is shocked that a different country is different than America. You really went to another country and are surprised that things are different? Americans. Americans really think they're the center of the world, huh? But when y'all do it about America, your comment sections look like this girl's. The more I hear about America, the less of a real place it sounds like. Americans are very simple people. Only in America. I can't believe Americans are really like that. And this girl was expressing a discovery, so this part definitely isn't aimed at her. It's more aimed at people in her comment section / all over the world, I guess. For a lot of you, your determination to be anti-American makes you act exactly how you think Americans do.
How is slowly becoming me just reversing American slander and defending the US. If you know me, you know I am the first critic of the US, but this is what you made me resort to. It might hit a special nerve in me because I live in Europe, but this shit annoys the fuck out of me. What do you mean Americans don't understand a 24-hour clock? I believe you. I'm sure that when people saw that you used the 24-hour clock, there were probably people who made remarks about it. But it's not because we Americans are just so stupid and can't just wrap our heads around and conceptualize what a 24-hour clock is. It's because, shocker, you're in a different country with different social norms, and it's not normal for us to use the 24-hour clock. So people are gonna be like, oh, okay. I am literally so over it. Y'all need to get off your high horse. Yes, there are some stupid Americans. Newsflash, there are stupid people everywhere. I live here now, and I can attest to the fact that the average intelligence has not gone up, okay? It feels exact.
I can't stitch the video I just saw of this girl explaining how she understands 24-hour clocks, so I'll tag her in the caption. But no hate, it was very confusing for me to understand, so I want to explain the easiest way that I understand 24-hour clocks. Imagine just a normal wall clock, 12, 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. 24-hour time, or military time, is, 1300, 1400, whatever, until 2400. A wall clock is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now imagine that 12 just goes on from 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, and so on. 13 is 1, 14 is 2. Just imagine instead of going from 12 to 1, it goes from 12 to 13. 13 being 1. Do you get it? It makes sense to me.
I want y'all to stop talking because everybody has an Independence Day from y'all. And what the fuck do you think military time is? Plus, you can use whatever system you want to use when you won the war.
A lot of people tagged me in this, so here's my take. If you've never seen my face before, my name is Elisheva, and I was born and raised in the U.S., but to an immigrant family, and I have lived outside of the U.S. for pretty much as long as I lived in the U.S. I'm very much used to using the 24-hour clock, especially as I am a medical professional. And yeah, I think what this lovely person is saying is very much the norm in the U.S. Most Americans are not accustomed to using what they call military time. Americans use the 12-hour model, and I don't want to take this out yet. And context will tell them and each other what part of the rotation of the earth we are in for that day. I have had American friends during my visits back to the US look at my phone and their eyes get really big. They know what they're looking at. They know they're looking at what they understand to be military time, but their brains just aren't used to converting. And I'll say, just subtract 12. It's not difficult arithmetic, but there's like panic that happens and they'll struggle to do it for a few seconds. If you're from the US and this resonates with you and you wish you understood the 24-hour clock, but subtracting 12 makes your brain stop, take a deep breath first of all. It's okay. You're not stupid. You're not silly. It just takes a little bit of practice. It's not what you're used to doing. I completely recommend getting your brain used to it because it's important to know how to do just for global context. And in the end, it's actually less complicated, less confusing.
So that video is the reason why many Americans grapple with fractions and they find it confusing, because we literally take away every real life scenario that can help with parts of a whole. So I'm true to this, not new to this. I'm an American teacher. Let me tell you what I do. So every time I walk into a new classroom, I check for the clock. If the clock is digital, I have the maintenance man either take it down completely or move it to a place where not all students can see. Usually clocks are like standard in the back of the classroom, and I replace it with a Target analog clock. And when the kids, obviously on the days that they're not using a computer, because then they can see the time on the computer, but when they're doing their work and they want to know how much time until gym and they can't take out their phone, they're going to look at the clock in the back. And then they're going to be like, Miss, why you put that clock up there? You can't just put a normal clock. And I'm like, that's a normal clock. Let's talk about how to read it. Then I do my job one person at a time.
I hate to tell you this, but I think they were messing with you. Because, we totally know what it is. And we just don't use it. We call it military time. Also, people in the medical profession use a 24-hour clock. I have a feeling that somebody, heard your British accent and was like, I'm gonna mess with her today. And then proceeded to mess with you because we totally know. We just don't use it.
Military time. The easiest way to remember it is Midnight becomes 0 hours, and anything after noon, anything after 12 o'clock noon, you add 12 to the digit, the hour. So 1 would become 1300 hours, 2, 1400 hours, 3, 1500 hours, and so forth until you get to midnight, and that resets everything at 24, which is 0. You don't have to worry about the minutes. So for instance, this clock reads 5:50 and this is PM, so we would add 12 to this and that would make it 17:50 or 5:50. Hope this helps someone who's trying to learn military time. Have fun.
A guy once thanked me for my service because he saw my phone and he thought I was in the military. And I had to explain to him that I was in fact not in the military, that I was just European. And then he thought I was on deployment in Europe. And I was like, no, listen, I was born and raised in Switzerland.
I did not used to understand 24-hour clocks until I learned this way. Basically, forget the first number. Forget whatever the first number is. Look at the second number. If it's a 9, if it's 19, just look at the 9. Subtract 2, 7, boom, that's it. If it's like, let's say the clock says 18:30 or whatever the heck, forget the 1, look at the 8, subtract 2, 6, 6:30. Don't let anybody make you feel dumb. You can do it.
It's not that we don't understand it, it's that we don't use it outside of the military and hospitals for the most part. Jesus fuck.
And if you have not yet subscribed, please just hit that subscribe down below, turn on notification. Anytime I upload a video, you will be notified. And feel free to leave your opinion down, what you think about this video. Thank you for watching to the end and stay blessed.